Hey shutter clickers! A lot of you have been asking me what is a 365 challenge. Well, I'm here to tell you today just exactly what it is. But the first piece of equipment you gotta have before you can take the 365 challenge is a camera. You gotta have a camera. Now it doesn't make any difference whether it's a smartphone, iPhone, whatever, a DSLR or a pocket camera. You've got to have a camera. You can't take a picture without a camera, so you just gotta have a camera. Take a camera everywhere you go. When you go to work, leave 10-15 minutes early and stop on the way if you see something to take a picture of. But you gotta have a camera. You gotta do it. Now, let's take a look at the rules of 365. Okay, now that I've convinced you to take a camera everywhere you go, let's take a look at the rules. Rule number 1, take a camera everywhere. Take it to work, take it to play, take it to church, take it wherever you go. Always take your camera. That's so important. Rule number 2, go early to everything. Go early to work. Take 10-15 minutes early. And if on the way to work you see something worthy to take a picture of, you got time to stop. On the way to church, you got time to stop. On the way to play, whatever you're doing, you got time to stop. Go 10-15 minutes early. Number 3, limit yourself to 10 minutes. Don't take any more than 10 minutes to take your picture. If it takes longer than that, you're not on the 365 challenge. Now, why do this? To develop the skills to take great pictures all the time. Whether you're trying to take pictures of just a family outing or you're going out with intent and purpose to take pictures of landscape. You need to develop skills, and nothing will develop skills like rule number 5. Take one picture every day. You can't miss a day. One picture every day. Now, I've been doing this since January 1st, and I want to tell you, the first day or first 3 days, I don't want to show you the pictures. And they're not that good. In the first 8 or 10 days, walking around the house, I started running out of things to take pictures of. So then I started taking my camera with me everywhere I go. Went to Walmart yesterday, and on the way back we made a stop at a place and got some really neat pictures just with my smartphone. So there you go. That's the rules. Now let's talk about what we want to accomplish here. We want to develop subject, composition, and we want to talk about post-processing. Okay, what about subject? Well, the first thing on subject is every picture should only have one subject. I know we take a family portrait or a family shot and there's like 5-6 people there, but those 5 or 6 people are just one subject. If you're out taking landscape, the subject, it may be a mountain in the distance, it may be a tree growing out in the middle of a lake or whatever, but there should only be one subject in every picture. And there should be something unique about that subject. If there's nothing unique about it, why take a picture of it? The idea here on the 365 challenge is to learn to ID a subject quickly. Learn very quickly when you're just driving down the road and you, wow, what was that over there? I need to take a picture of that. That's a subject that needs to have a picture taken. You get out your pocket camera and you go click. So subject, that's the first thing. Second thing is composition. This is making the subject the focus of your photograph. And we've talked about the rules before if you've watched some of my other videos. I've got a triangle video. You ought to watch that one. It's kind of technical and it's kind of long, but it's worth to watch. And in that we learn about rules of thirds, the rule of horizon. The rule of thirds is where you divide it into like a tic-tac-toe thing, and you always put the subject on one of the corners. The horizon, you always keep the horizon either below or above the center line. It's very rare that you'll want the horizon crossing the center line. Those are the rules. So 365 challenge, it helps you ID a subject, it helps you to develop composition so that you can make that subject the focus of your image. And of course the last thing is post-processing. You know, we want to take those pictures, and if you're shooting raw especially, you have the ability to take those pictures and to make them as real as possible. The idea is not to Photoshop them and really change the way they look, you know, make them, you know, all goofy looking. No, the challenge is to add a sense of realism to them so that the picture looks just like what you saw with your eye and your mind. You know, that's the whole thing. Just as you saw it, that's what we want to accomplish here. So subject, composition, and post-processing. So let's take a look on the computer here. Before we look at the computer, let's just go out and put 365 Challenge into action. And the first place you'll want to go is probably just around your house in your own backyard and just take a look. And I'll just show you where I've taken a couple pictures just so you kind of get an idea and get started. I don't know, can you see the light post there in the background? That was one of my first pictures, and trust me, it wasn't very good. In fact, it was pretty bad. So I'll tell you what, after about 3 days of trying to get a good picture of that, I found out how to do it, and I got a pretty neat picture. This bush over here, this holly bush, with the red berries, I got a really nice picture of that. And in fact, I've got a 5x7 of that hanging in our kitchen on the wall. All right, let's walk on down here. I'm using my stabilizer. My camera's on there crooked, so I started out of balance, but now it's back and working pretty good. As I was walking around the house, I saw this pile of wood over here. And I got a picture of it. And it made a pretty nice composition with all the fungi, the mushrooms growing on it. I don't know what those are. Someone told me they're shiitakes, but I'm not going to eat them. But anyway, it makes a pretty nice picture, and I put that one on the wall as well. So that's how you get started, just around the house. But it won't be long though, you'll be running out of subject matter. So, you know, of course I've taken several pictures of the pond. In fact, my very first picture was a picture of that pond, and it was frozen over, which it rarely does. January 1st, it was like 11 degrees that morning. And I tell you, I wasn't out there very long taking that picture, but it got kind of a neat picture. I've been messing with my camera, and I had it set on default setting, so it went back to JPEG, and the picture was taken in JPEG format, so I couldn't do much to it. But it was interesting in that JPEG got the wrong white balance, and they got it too blue, but the thing looks like the whole world's frozen. So it made kind of a neat picture anyway. And but anyway, that's where you want to start. But like I said, you'll soon run out of things to take pictures of, and you'll want to start carrying your camera with you. All right, now let's take a look at the computer. Let's see how 365 Challenge looks when we put it into action. All right. Okay, here's that first picture I was telling you about I took on January 1st. And, you know, there's nothing special here about it. It was just, I wanted to get a picture in. It was 11 degrees, and I wasn't going outside to get it done. But, you know, I stood on the porch, snapped this right away, and it has that kind of frosty, almost a Currier and Ives look, as my daughter says. So it didn't turn out too bad. You know, nothing thrilling, but it's just a picture. The next day was terrible. I won't even look at it. The next day was terrible. Ah, here's the picture of the logs, as you can see. Not too bad. If you follow me on Facebook, you've seen some of these before. Here's a picture, a silhouette of some trees against a blue sky. There's another variation of that. You can see this variation is not near as nice as this variation. Kind of an abstract look, but for some reason or other, you don't know what to look at on this one, but you do know what to look at back here. You know, everything's all pointing up to the sky, kind of coming together up here. So it makes kind of a neat picture. Here's the picture of the rock, the boulder in my backyard. Perspective. Got down low, took this picture. Makes it look kind of like a mountain. Here's the picture of the holly bush with the berries. That turned out really bright, colorful. Made kind of a nice picture. That's a nothing picture. I look back at that. Why did I take it? Well, the idea was the reflections here, but it didn't work out real good. So that's not much of a picture. You've seen the picture of the leaves. Make a good jigsaw puzzle, 1,000-piecer. But other than that, I don't know what it's good for. There's the first picture of the lamppost. First of all, I took it. It was too bright out. You couldn't tell the light was on. Second of all, the post is about 6 feet behind this tree, maybe even 8 feet. And it looks like it's in front of it. And it's because I was standing in the wrong place to take the picture. And its perspective is all wrong there on it. Subject, it wasn't too bad, especially if you can see the bulb lit up. But the composition, how I arranged the picture, just didn't make it. This is a picture of a weather vane on top of my house. I don't know. It's kind of a nothing shot, but it was something. Here's a foggy morning. Doesn't have the look that I wanted, but you know, it's a start working with fog. Fog sometimes makes some really great pictures. I'm not sure. I think maybe it was too foggy. The fog wasn't lifting, and the fog was there against gray skies, and so it just didn't have much appeal. Here's a picture. That's not too bad. I'm not sure what I was doing there. Oh, it's just blue skies. I was trying to frame a little bit here with these trees. Trying to get the color right to where I could see the green on the pines in the background. You know, just practice. That's all I'm doing here. These aren't album pictures. These aren't pictures to put on the wall. These are pictures to learn skill, how to find subject matter and how to compose. There's another one, big rock. Here we stopped on the way to town one day, and this is a dry creek bed, and of all the brown and ugly, there was this one big green holly tree, and I was trying to capture it, but there's too much in the background. It gets lost. Not much going on there. This was shot through about 6 to 8 inches of water. Another jigsaw picture. Okay, here's a picture of the light post. This is just after sunset. You can see now, different perspective. You can tell the post is behind the tree. First of all, the tree now is slightly out of focus. And you can tell that it's behind the tree. And it gives you kind of a nice glow here. I've got, well, let's see, I've got 2 or 3 other ones here. I'll let you take a look at real quick. That was too much light, too dark, too much light. This changed the f-stop a little bit. And then this is probably the best one of the bunch. It kind of gives that eerie, glowing look. If it had been foggy, this would have been really neat. That's a nothing shot. I was trying to get the reflection of the sunrise. I'm big on sunsets, not too many on sunrise. I don't like to get up that early. But I don't know, I got a big sunspot right there. And my focus was wrong. I wasn't paying enough attention. I got the focus on the tree and not on the background, so it's all kind of washed out. You know, who wants to take a picture of a tree like that? Okay. Now these next 3, I took them poorly by intent. And we want to develop skills for framing and leading lines. Now the leading line in this picture would be the cart path. Now the only problem with this picture, there's no subject. Now if there's a big mountain back here, or you know, a lake, you know, a boat on the lake, or whatever, it might have been a worthwhile picture. But let's just look at developing composition. So this first picture, the leading line's there, but I was trying to frame it, and the frame, well, it just overcomes the picture. You don't know what you're looking at. So I moved about 3 feet to the left, and I took this picture. And you got the leading line's a little better. Again, no balance though. See, I was framing it with a tree over here on this side, but there's no balance. Way too heavy on the right side, not enough framing on the left side. And then I moved about another foot, and I got this picture. Now, I got framing here, and it kind of fades into the background. You got some good framing here. You got a nice leading line. Now, if I could just put a really neat subject back there, I'd have had a good picture. But I developed some other skills too. If you'll notice, kind of washed out on the first one. I went down a half a stop. It's a little better. I went down a full stop on this one. I got nice blue skies and got some good color in the trees. So it made a nice shot, except there's just no subject. But composition-wise, I got good framing. I got a leading line, f-stop, shutter speed, ISO, everything looks real good. It made a pretty nice picture. Okay, so I think you can kind of get the idea here of what 365 Challenge is all about. Well, shutter clickers, that's my first 16 days. And I've learned a lot, and I hope that you've been challenged with the 365 Challenge. That you'll get out there too and take some pictures. Remember, we're not trying to be Ansel Adams here. We're just trying to develop good subject, good composition, with a minimal amount of post-processing to bring that picture back to what it looked like when you saw it. I'll be making a very short, no more than 5-minute video every week of my best picture of my 365 Challenge. Hopefully I'll have a best picture, and I'm going to start that next week so you can see how I'm doing and challenge yourself as you watch my video to see how well you're doing. Okay? So, oh, you know what? I haven't taken my picture for the day. I got to get out there and I got to keep that shutter clicking.